Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome back to World of Warships, where today we're following this Warspite. Warspite, as you may know, is a battleship, and I gotta say I am not a very good battleship player, but sometimes, I don't know, the planets just all align and you have some really, really good games with the Warspite, or any kind of battleship at that rate. Now, what you need to know about the Warspite before I begin, if you haven't played World of Warships, this ship is pretty maneuverable for a battleship. She's short and fat, as they say. She's, as far as length of the ship goes, not very long for a battleship, but she is very wide. It's a very, very broad ship. And this makes it so that she's pretty quick in turning. Now, this is useful when you're dodging torpedoes, but sometimes when you're trying to dodge incoming shells, that can also be very useful. The map that I'm playing today is the domination version of Strait. So we got 3 capture points, A, B, and C. I'm close to C, but I'm going to turn slightly towards B right from the start to make sure that I have a pretty good overlapping fire on every side of the map. Of course, that means that I will also be targeted from all sides of the map, because it's a slow battleship, it's easy to hit, it's pretty heavily armored, but with the right amount of HE shells you can just put this thing on fire and wait till it burns down. This is something though that I have seen most battleships not do lately, especially with the ranked season for the EU server going back into action. I use the Warspite quite often, considering in EU we only get tier 5 and 6 for ranked, not 6 and 7. And I find that some battleship players just don't do their standard role, they just don't tank. And that's what I find to be the role of the battleships. Not just do damage, but also take the damage. Anyway, first few targets are up, so I'm switching to sniper view. We got a lot of fire coming in. There's the Congo. And I'm just seeing if there's any other targets. And there's a Bujoni, who is more or less flat onto this ship. So hopefully I can be able to put some citadels into him. He's moving pretty fast though. I apologize for the shaking of the camera, but that is just the wonky system from World of Warships. Pretty mediocre hit, at only 2 hits for about 3,800 damage. It's not bad, could have been better. What else do I have to shoot at? And as far as finding stuff to shoot at, I always look for stuff that is pretty much broadside onto me. Because broadside means citadels, and citadels means a lot of damage. This Fuso, for some reason, seems to have stopped. He's just dead in the water. He's just sitting there. I'm not sure why. Maybe he just came in from World of Tanks and he thinks that sitting still is the best option. But he gets punished for that. 5 hits out of the 8 shells I fired at him, which is remarkably accurate for Warspite. This is when I start to take my first bit of return fire. I think that was the Furataka who tried to put some HE damage into me. He's going to get punished for that. Because if I can get a good hit on the Furataka at this angle, I can get a lot of damage in. Unfortunately, my lead was a bit too much. And I do take a big hit, probably from this Congo over here. Because I was sailing almost flat on, trying to evade incoming fire. And there we go, I'm trying to blade the ship as much as possible, and I don't really take a lot of damage from that. Pop the repair ability, or the repair team, to just get as much of my health back as possible. In the meantime, firing at this Nuremberg, who's just sitting in the middle of the spawn zone here. Sorry, spawn zone. No, the middle of the cap zone. 1 citadel, and he's down on the bottom. Now, what else can we find here? This Congo is, just like his Fuso brother on the other side, stopped. But he seems to have almost run aground. Now, firing at this ship, at this angle, is not ideal. But I don't really have anything other to shoot at, other than a destroyer, so I'm just going to go for it. Just going to try and get these shots on target. Here we go. Shells going in. 10,000 damage. Because I think I went through the deck armor instead of the belt armor there. Deck armor is usually way less, way easier to penetrate. And again, he's just barely moving. Battleship drivers, do not sit still, because you're gonna regret it. I take some more incoming fire. Not from that ship, though. I'm pretty sure it came from a battleship at a different angle. It's not the Molotov that we can see over there. Molotov isn't doing that much damage to me. But I believe that there's another battleship coming in pretty soon. You can see it on the minimap over there. That's the one that did the damage to me. Molotov keeps firing. I slowed down a little bit to make my turn shorter and also to make myself a more unpredictable target. And meanwhile, this Molotov is, wait for it, running aground. I'm not sure what the enemy team was doing here, but they just kept running aground. We had the Congo over there, and we now have the Molotov over here, who also managed to put himself on the ground, and he is getting punished for it. About 15,000 damage from my ship, and quite a bit more from the other two battleships over here, the New Mexico and the Texas, which are both pushing into the B cap zone. Firing at a new target here, the Congo, that I already mauled quite a bit initially. Getting some hits in, but especially that Citadel hit right under his first turret. 11,000 damage. This is why you play battleships. This is why you want to do that massive amount of hammering that these ships can do. Looking for new targets, and I gotta say that New Mexico over on my port flank is becoming a bit of a nuisance. But the Congo is such a beautiful target. It is flat on, and is just starting to turn away, so I'm trying to get some more Citadels in. Didn't really quite do as much damage as I'd hoped, only 1100. Meanwhile, that New Mexico, yep, just like the others, it has run aground. I don't know. This is, I believe, the fourth ship that's either sitting still by own choice or running aground. And of course, well, we have to punish him for that, don't we? Not just me, but the rest of the ships that are pounding on him as well are doing massive amounts of damage, and there he goes. 3 battleships firing on a sitting duck. Not a lot of stuff he could do about it. Torpedoes are coming in. Looks like Texas might get hit. With some torpedoes going in, that's 1 hit. But if that's all, then he should be perfectly fine. I'm still sitting perfectly comfortable at more than halfway through my health. 35,000, not 3,500, 35,000. And let's have a look at some more targets. Furutaka, unfortunately, already got blown up. And I now have to start paying attention to other ships, among which is the destroyer that is operating in this smokescreen. Now, what I know from the destroyer is that there's a Fujin still alive. So I should be getting wary for torpedoes. There's the Fujin. Bit of damage on the Congo. Unfortunately, no penetrations there, so no really good damage. There's torpedoes. But I should be perfectly fine. He should not be able to hit me. Instead, I try to get a little bit of damage into the Fujin. But then again, firing at destroyers with battleship guns, it's really the issue that I didn't have anything other with a good angle to fire at, so I basically just fire at whatever I have, which just happens to be this destroyer, and I do manage to hit him twice for over 2,200 damage. But then again, much more of a lucky hit than that I was expecting to hit anything. Looking around, trying to find some more targets. The Congo is of course still over there. Unfortunately, there's a bit of an island in the way. The carrier is also spotted, a little bit more to the east in G9. But at the moment, I don't really have a good angle at him. So let's try and hit the Congo instead. And I'm pushing to full speed as best I can to close the gap, to just make sure I get a better shot at him. And that's when the Fuso pops up again. That Fuso has been sitting at that edge of the map pretty much the entire time. Not sure what his plan was, not sure if he's going to get a lot of damage done, but it was really not very effective. A couple of shots going in on the carrier, unfortunately too much lead. This carrier... And there it is, not too bad. 105,722 damage done. Lots of credits for income. It can, of course, it is a premium ship. Quite a nice amount of XP for that as well. As far as teams go, I came in second. The guy Carter in the New Mexico did even better. Look at that, he shot down 14 aircraft. He must have been the sole focus of the enemy carrier, and he really showed that carrier not to mess with the New Mexico. As far as details, you can see that I did quite a bit of damage to that Fuso, mostly thanks to the Citadel hits. Same for the Congo, got quite a lot of damage in there as well. Molotov got hit by a Citadel damage, and I'm not sure about the Nuremberg, but I don't think so. I don't think I hit him that bad. As far as the net view for credits and XP, 331,000 net, and of course 3875 XP. So, really, really nice match in the Warspite. Would I recommend the Warspite? Depends on your situation. If you really like battleships, then sure, by all means, go get the Warspite. If you want to train up your British captains to make sure that you have British captains ready when the British tree eventually arrives, and I have no clue when that's going to be, then by all means, train up your British your British captains in the Warspite. Other than that, I think that there are battleships at tier 6 which are better than Warspite. But hey, it's a nice ship. You can get some really, really nice credits out of it, and you can probably get even more credits than what I'm getting, because I'm just not that good in battleships. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more World of Warships.